This is me. This is my beloved wife, Sylvia. This is Sylvia's idea of sailing. This is my dream of sailing and my hope of circumnavigating the globe as a retirement project in 2029. This is Sylvia's reaction to that idea.
What? He's got a plan.
I am on a 6-year quest to convince Sylvia that a circumnavigation is a wonderful adventure, but the clock is ticking, so join me as I search for the perfect yacht that Sylvia will love, and get all your ladies to subscribe and cheer Sylvia on in the comments. Welcome back to Navel Gazing at Camp David. This week we have a special interview episode for you directly from the Annapolis Boat Show and on board the stunning Balance 526. I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing a subscriber and his lovely wife who have become a tremendous help to me personally as I learn all things sailing. Kirk and Catherine will be taking delivery of their brand new Balance 526 around this time next year, and Kirk, being an engineer, has investigated every aspect of catamaran design and construction as part of his buying decision. His willingness to share his knowledge has been an absolute boon to my channel, and I was thrilled that they agreed to do the interview. I also want to extend sincere thanks to Kayla from Balance, who I mistakenly called Cat in the interview, so sorry Kayla, and Phil Berman, who not only made time on the 526 for the interview, but also allowed me to join a demo sail on the 482. Thank you both very much. So let's get going. From high above Vancouver, we head east all the way to the western shores of France and the home of last week's guest yacht, the Privilege 580 Signature. From here, we hop back across the Atlantic to the east coast of the U.S. and the home of the Annapolis Sailboat Show in Annapolis, Maryland. The show was packed and the weather was spectacular. I also ran into many wonderful subscribers who took the time to say hi and give encouragement, not only to me, but also to Sylvia.
I'm Tom, and this is Keely, and your husband's the whole reason I spent a lot of money on a boat. That's it.
Sure,
Now, Keely, tell me what convinced you to go along with this?
Well, your video. And yes, the boat's beautiful.
Yeah, right on.
We hope to spend a lot of good days on there. And lots
Excellent.
Of good memories.
So join me on this beautiful Balance 526 Catalyst. So we're here right now with Kirk and Cat. Both have watched the channel, and Kirk taught me most of what I know about the actual hull materials and resins and fibers. You're the one who got me putting that whole section, the technical section at the bottom there.
Yeah.
So I know that they've gone through a whole process of selecting the right cat, and they are rabid fans of Balance.
Really, all catamarans, all boats. We're just a boating community fan.
Exactly, but yeah, I mean, you really appreciate the technical capabilities and quality of the Balance.
As Catherine would attest to, like we did a very, very deep dive into our search, and it involved not just the typical, go to a boat show, do the analysis of, what are the different options out there. But, we started with, hey, let's take some sailing lessons. Let's see if this is even for us. And then,
oh, really? I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah. My first time sailing, well, I'd been on sailboats, but my first time actually sailing and learning to sail was 10 years ago, 2014.
Really?
And we're from Michigan, so we're not landlocked, but we're surrounded by the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And said, all right, we're lifelong power boaters, and we tried to say, what is kind of the next step? And sailing, gets you the opportunity to see a little bit more of the world. And
that's
both,
what actually.
yeah.
I first took lessons on a 53-foot trawler in the Gulf Islands, and thinking, hey, this is going to be great. I'd always done lakes. I'd gone on holiday in the Caribbean, so it was a beautiful Indian summer. perfect weather. We pull into our first cove. I leap off the boat and just about walk across the water back to the boat. Nobody told me the Pacific is that cold. So my dreams of you know, just cruising the Gulf Islands sort of went out the window because I like to swim and all this. And I realized power isn't going to do it unless I buy a great big trawler. Nordhaven, exactly.
Well, what's interesting is that we, you know, our plans and our you know, dreams, if you will, really evolved as we got into it. You know, started sailing, learned on monohulls, went down to the BVIs, you know, did some more lessons, did the ASA all the way through 114
Really?
Airboat.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And did you do this with him?
Yeah, no, well, some of it I started later. 2017, that's the first time I stepped foot on a catamaran. But he was very smart because he booked this awesome trip to the Bahamas. And took me on this.
Was there any resistance on your part to that trip originally, or?
No, I've always enjoyed boating. I grew up on the west coast of Sweden, and I've been power boating with my parents all my years growing up. So we would live on boats for 3 weeks at a time. So I always enjoyed it. But sailing was new.
And, so we did kind of back and forth of we would do a boating excursion, you know, we'd do a bareboat charter for a week or two, and then go to a boat show and say, okay, what we learned, and you know, this is what's important to us. And you know, we went I mean, a little crazy because we went full circle from we really liked monohulls because you get that visceral sensation of the wind interacting with the boat.
And they're just beautiful.
And they're gorgeous.
They're so romantic. I know this is where I'm torn as well. Although I know Sylvia will never tolerate the healing.
Yes.
It's a tough sell.
Yeah.
But Catherine being from Sweden originally, and the Swedish archipelago is one of the most spectacular sailing grounds on earth. And if you want to meet some really good sailors, you know, those guys are tacking back and forth between rocks and channels that are it's intimidating, but it's impressive to watch at the same time. So you know, we went everywhere from, okay, gosh, a Hallberg Rossi 50 is the boat to have, or an Amel, or
the Amel,
and then we're like, oh, you know, gosh, we're lifelong power boaters, let's just make it easy. And then we looked at Nordhavens. And you know, like, we're all over the map, but we knew that, you know, kind of our timeline was, you know, closer to 2025-ish when we were going to, you know, begin the process. So we knew we had time, and we visited every boat show in the world multiple times. But, you know, and I was, you know, I had kind of leaned towards the performance-oriented catamaran to begin with because I wanted to do more sailing than motoring.
I was more into the luxury.
Yes, exactly. And
comfort.
That's where I started to convince Sylvia, right? I started on the big lagoons.
And they're all right choices. Every boat is right for the right purpose. And it really kind of came down to, you know, for us, as we learned more and got more experience, that, okay, you know, you wanted to have that, you want your cake and eat it too. You want a boat that can be sailing in 8 knots of wind instead of turning on the motor, but also not give up the creature comforts of being able to have, you know, run your, you know, have ACs in all the cabins, have refrigeration.
And the hair straightener.
And the hair straightener. Have enough, it can carry the payload of, you know, the extra toys if you want e-bikes or e-foils or...
Now, I have to ask a very important question, Kat.
Yeah.
So you're out on this grand adventure. Where do you get your hair done? That's the question I've been asked.
Well, I've been on many charters where I haven't been able to use a hairdryer, and those are not my favorite kinds, but I get over it, and it's okay, because I have so much fun.
But the nails and the hair.
I do my own stuff. It's okay. It works out.
It's okay.
Hairdryer.
As much as I don't want to admit it, you can tell them who your hairdresser is.
Yeah.
Oh no! Really?
I've done her hair since COVID started.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of
okay.
crazy.
I
Well,
can't believe we're
it's
talking about this right now.
I know a new job that I have got to learn. Okay,
exactly.
so
you know, one problem solved.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, you learn to
Yeah.
do things on your own, and hey, honestly, you don't need it. Yeah,
Fabulous.
It does a good job.
Yeah.
he does a good job. Really? Fantastic.
Yeah, so we chartered everywhere around the world, and and after visiting boat show after boat show and watching a gazillion YouTube, yeah, and they're honestly
not the least of which is probably Nick's, because he was so technical.
Oh, yeah, super. Their series, or where they went through 18 or 19 boats, was spectacular, and it helps the entire community. And
now, if you think my spreadsheets are something, I guarantee you he's got spreadsheets.
But they're really more so just to lay all the facts out and kind of make decisions, because all the boats are the right call.
Don't you wish there was a industry standard spec sheet though?
Yeah, because a lot of people go to a boat show and they're like, "Oh man, this looks fantastic," and but my thing from an industry standard, I think all boats at the boat show should be required to carry the cruising kit with them. Bring all the toys, have all the stuff loaded onto the boat, because
then
you
can
see
really
certain
see
boats
how it's gonna live.
Certain boats don't have any storage
Enough,
down below.
Well, this is see, when I'm going through this, I wish that there was a standard like there is in houses. Everybody knows a house, you don't measure it by the external dimensions, it's a square footage.
Right.
Why isn't there standard square footage measures? Why isn't there standard storage measures? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there are the metrics there for people who want to dive into it. But it is subtle. People can, there's a lot of ability to, how do I say, not manipulate the facts, but to massage the information to make it look more appealing in one direction or the other.
So what took you to balance, and specifically the 526, which you clarified for me is an epoxy glass and carbon reinforced?
Yes.
I had mistakenly thought it was similar to the 442 or 482 in that a mixture of vinyl ester and polyester, but this is a full epoxy boat.
Yeah, full epoxy. You can actually, and the unique thing about the 526 is you can build it as a full carbon fiber boat as well. So you can do full carbon fiber, and it's 1.7 kilo or 1,700 kilos less, I believe, in weight. We chose a few of the carbon plus options as well to bring the weight lower, so Catherine can bring more of her equipment along.
Is there a dishwasher?
Yes.
There is a dishwasher.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
And I was adamantly
and it's not him.
No, I converted him. He's now a dishwasher converter.
We have some, I have to say the balance community, once we've gotten involved, has been
so important for us.
Well, it's been amazing. It's been absolutely spectacular, because we've gotten the chance to actually go aboard and sail these boats and sail the 42 and the 526, and we've just developed so many great friends, and the thing, regardless of the brand or the boat you choose, everybody wants everyone to succeed.
Yeah.
And they're just, everybody opens you, with open arms. They're inviting, they want to help. You've got a problem. They don't want anybody to fail, because at the end of this is hard.
Yeah.
You're taking your house into the most harsh environment in the world that's trying to kill you and destroy your boat.
So what is your project then? What are you going to do, or what's your plan?
Well, we chose the boat in the time frame we did because our daughter, or my stepdaughter and Catherine's daughter, is going to graduate from high school in 2027. So we wanted to get a boat sometime in 2025, which our boat splashes this time next year, and then we'll sail it back from Cape Town early 2025.
Oh, you're going to sail it yourself?
We'll bring a professional crew. We've got quite a few miles under our belt, but just safety
Good
first.
idea.
And,
Crew, I'm here.
yeah, there you go. It's a long haul.
Only if Sylvia comes along.
Yeah, that's not
Oh
the,
no, that's
That is
not going to
That is
happen.
not the game.
that's not the trip to,
No.
bring her along.
Crossings
but-
will have Sylvia flying over to the beach and having a Mai Tai waiting
Yeah.
for David to show up.
And there's quite a few couples that do that, and you do what makes sense
Yeah.
for you. You know, don't push a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you, and that's kind of like I've commented on your channel before, is, man, the first thing to do is go to the bathtub of sailing that is the BVIs.
Yeah.
And it's line of sight. It's not big open water.
Seth Hines said exactly the same thing. He
Okay.
said, he
Yeah.
said, get your wife out to the BVIs.
And just it's gonna be the trip of a lifetime. She's gonna be, oh, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Catherine and I spent a month there during COVID because, what else are you gonna do? And
Yeah,
we
it's
were
fantastic.
on the chitty chitty bang bang of charter boats.
Yeah.
And it was, and we had the time of our lives.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where
Nothing worked, but it was still awesome.
nothing
Yeah.
worked, and
Yeah.
it didn't matter. We sank the dinghy. Well, hopefully we're beyond the statute of limitations.
It should be okay right now. It's been 2 years.
But yeah, I haven't got the call from the charter company. But yeah, well, and it's just awesome. It's fun, and it is a tough lifestyle from the standpoint that you're very active, and there are things that you're going to have to be looking at and doing and tending to on the boat. But it's also for people who who are somewhat technical in nature and like to tinker and like to have stuff to keep them occupied.
We're not going to be bored. No.
Yeah.
No.
You're not going to be bored. Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to come, you're going to pick it up in South Africa and bring it to...
We'll sail from South Africa to St. Helena.
Okay.
Hopefully, make a stop there, and then to Fernando in Brazil, off the coast of Brazil, make a stop there. That's what we're really just using the crib sheet that all the other balance sailors have done, and you know what, it works. So, and then we'll stop there, and then we'll bring the boat to Grenada. Maybe depending upon the time of year and what's happening, we'll take a break. We'll get off the boat for a while, and then bring the boat up the island chain, up the Windward Islands to the east coast of the United States and to the Chesapeake, most likely, and then have the boat on the east coast of the United States, Bahamas, for a year or two until Ingrid is off to college or taking a gap year and joining us in our adventure. And then you've got to decide, do you go east or do you go west?
Yeah.
And
We don't know.
we don't
know yet.
We don't know. We could change the decision.
I've heard that the key rule to sailing is no schedule.
Correct.
Otherwise, you will force yourself into a bad weather window, and you're sailing. This is not a power boat. This is, and it's serious.
Yeah, very serious. And thankfully, those are a lot of the lessons that we've learned. Not necessarily the hard way, but
we did learn.
We've learned a lot of. We've seen, on our last passage with Chris Braden, who's hole number 4 on Kiala 42. Awesome. The guy's taught us. It's what an amazing resource and great guy. And on our last passage up, we were staging kind of outside the entrance to Hatteras, or had just rounded Hatteras and the entrance to the Chesapeake, and had 59 knots of wind. Come, and I was legitimately a little disappointed it wasn't a few knots higher, because then I could have said we sailed through a hurricane. But
You felt that secure in the boat?
I was joking. I was joking with our friends Larry and Norhi that I was, like standing up at the helm like Lieutenant Dan, and saying, "Is this all you got?" But
really,
the boat was the boat was solid and planted, and I felt. Now you have to be aware, but this comes from we've been in weather. We've had the experience of big waves and a lot of wind, and you look at the forecast, you understand that we kind of knew on the forecast this was a little bit above what was forecasted, but you knew it was going to happen. We had prepped in advance. We had taken all the sail down. We were you know, making sure we weren't going to enter to the wrong spot at the wrong time. But yeah, but again, these are things that you learn by doing and getting out there and have more and more experience.
Was there anything on that crossing that made you question your balance decision?
It just reaffirmed it.
Reaffirmed it.
The boat is right. You don't hear any creaks. You don't hear any motion.
This is the impression I've had, you know, when I got on the first one in Le Grand Mont. I knew nothing. I mean, literally, Le Grand Mont was the first time I had been on a catamaran, because we don't have boats of that size in the shows in Vancouver. Right. It's mostly power because the winds suck in the summer, and you know, it's difficult. And when I got on it, I'm walking along. The first thing that hit me was the longeron. I'm walking along. I'm going, this looks like a steel beam from a bridge or something. Yeah. And then everything that you touch and feel, and it hit me again on the 442 in Miami this year. I walked on it. I thought, I'm just being impressed because it's the first time I saw it. So I walk around, 20 other boats come back to it and go, crap, this thing is just built. Like everything is.
It's solid.
So tell me technically what drew you to the boat. Like what whittled your decision process down to this boat, and what were the finalists in the group?
It's a boat built by sailors for sailors, and as you know, my background is in engineering, and you know, just walking through the boat and the attention to detail as to the decisions that have been made, you know, all around. No boat is perfect. Okay, so. You know, all boats are just a series of compromises, and you just had to think, or you know, like as we had looked at the different boats, you know, obviously Catherine wanted more comfort, and you know, she was leaning that way. I still wanted to have that performance aspect.
So we met in the middle. And
yeah, we kind of met in the middle.
Now, it sounds like you kind of drove. You were a big fan of this as well.
I was. Yeah.
What? From your perspective, what in technical or comfort or whatever it was, what drew you to this boat?
Just like it was a series of compromise, like it says, but this to me has overall absolutely the most things that we've been looking for. First of all, the shower. Just look at the shower. You know,
we've all heard the story of Phil and his wife.
Not just that. It's just the craftsmanship and the cabinetry. You know, the semi-custom. Options that you have with everything, and the company itself and the community. It's not just a boat, but it's all of it.
It's really interesting you should say that, because that's from an outsider coming in seems to have evolved very quickly over the last 5 years. This idea of a brand being more than just the boats they sell. Oyster did a fabulous job at that with the Oyster World Rally, the Oyster training. Outremer has jumped on that as well with their ladies only sailing training and all the orientation, and of course the 30-month round the world thing. And I was just talking to Kat, and I said, you know, we were talking a little bit about Sylvia and her hesitations, and I said, you know, you need to have a ladies only, because my wife does not want me watching her learning to sail. She just doesn't want it. And Kat said, I've been pitching that idea. So I think, you know, the community. We
actually did that in the Med. We sailed from Mallorca to Spain, and we did Balance University.
We did, they offered that, and we jumped on it.
And it was with our friends Paul and Meg, who you were on their boat yesterday.
Oh, okay, right.
Paul was the ASA instructor of the year, I believe, in 2021 or something like that. But awesome couple, and again, great teacher, and he taught Catherine, and I had already gone through all this, so I stayed out of the way. So, but joined in for the fun part of being in a exotic, fun new location to go see, and it was spectacular.
Did you, in Sweden, did you learn to sail, or?
I had never stepped foot on a sailboat till 2017.
Were you nervous at all about this idea of him knowing how to do it and you not knowing how to do it? Or?
I knew that if we were going to do it, that I want to learn. I want to be able to handle everything on my own. If something ever happened to him, it's the two of us. So I did my ASA certification. So I'm certified, maybe not qualified as Paul. But you know, that will come a time, you know, and I'm willing and happy and interested in putting in the time. So
fabulous,
yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the boat that you feel should be pointed out from your perspective?
Well, you know, the one
and
thing
by the way,
is,
we're sitting on a 526, the first one I've been on.
Yeah,
Correct.
this is 526, I believe, hole 21, Catalyst. But anyway, you know, every boats and what you choose is such a subjective, personal
is it ever?
Opinion. So
well, all you got to do is laugh as you look at the Dave score. Most people have taken to be a task for that. I keep saying that's from Sylvia's perspective. That's why it says elegance, comfort, and it wasn't Nick. It was Riley from the Vagabond. He actually commented. I woke up groggily one morning. And holy crap! I got a message from Riley. Yeah. And he liked the channel, but he said you need to focus more on safety. And I'm going, but Sylvia doesn't care.
yeah.
I think get Sylvia down
No,
to some awesome spot and just take her and have fun.
I think that you know, like what drew us to the boat, and like from a technical aspect, like I had mentioned, number one, performance doesn't mean what a lot of people think. Performance is not about speed. Performance is about the ability to sail in light wind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the ability to have less canvas up and less stress on the rig, less stress on the crew.
That's a good point.
As well, because you're still going to be able to be doing that 7.5 knots, but you're on a third reef and a storm jib, storm sail up. So, you know, the thing is, for us, we looked at it and we wanted a boat that was of a high quality build, because our plan is anywhere from 2 to 20 years, as long as it's still fun. Okay.
Check in with you every year.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
keep checking in. But then also, you know, the connectivity of having the helm position, a upper and a lower helm, where we could, and what I thought was going to be the advantage of the Versa helm isn't what I initially, now after having 6,000 miles at open ocean sailing, it's more about the ability to be seated at the lower helm, have all of the instrumentation available to you. And this is one thing on the other Versa helms that maybe they didn't quite get right, in my opinion. And again, this is 100% my opinion. But you can sit at the lower helm, and when you're on passage, what you're doing, you're on night watch, you're zooming in on, you've got radar up, you've got, you're seeing an AIS target, you go up and down. Number one, it's more dangerous to sail up and down the Atlantic coast than it is to cross an ocean. Because there's nothing out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But the East Coast, there's freighters and tankers and markers and buoys. There's lots of stuff. So you want the ability to, have all the instrumentation accessible to you within, you know, like ergonomics. Think about it in your automobile. You don't put the chart plotter down below the steering wheel. You put it where you put the instrumentation right where you can touch it. The throttle controls are easily accessible from the
well, and what
upper and lower.
surprised me in the demo sail yesterday on the 482 was how practical that seating position and the nav desk seating position are. I sat there, and I'll show it in one of the videos where I kept my camera at eye level. And you really have a sense of control and a sense of visibility. You're comfortable there, and it's not like you're fearful because you can't see stuff.
No, and you're connected to the other people in the boat. So when we would be on night water or passage, when we just did a recent passage to Panama, we would set this up as like a mosh pit.
Yeah, because here you have great visibility. You lift it high, you have a perfect view.
And
all the way around.
You've got the TV. You repeat the chart plotter to the TV, dim it way down, and then you just look to watch the radar, see if any squalls are going to pop up, see if there's any AIS targets. And it's smooth and easy sailing. You reef down at night, make it it's more about easy, comfortable miles and having everybody sleep well at night.
Unless you're Riley and Elena and want to go 25 knots.
Well, you know, we hit 22 knots and 22.5 knots of breeze. So, I mean, these boats have hit 28 knots.
What did it feel like? Now, obviously, were you surfing?
So you're
surfing.
able to catch little waves.
Yeah.
You know, so the boat is the boat's wind speed or close to it boat up to, you know, like 14 or so knots, and then.
And when you were hitting those speeds, did you feel in control? Were you felt comfortable?
100% planted.
Really?
It was like, you know, like if you drive a sports car fast, it just feels planted and comfortable, and never feeling out of control. But we're always looking, when you're sailing, and it's one thing you learn, you're looking a half hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours ahead. Okay, so you have your bailout points. You need to understand, when is it time to reef? Are we on that edge? You know, watch the wind patterns. Watch what the
you're on an edge.
yeah, you're being proactive, not reactive. So
well, your daughter's got to take that gap year.
Yeah.
Got to
We're
do.
working
Like,
on it.
Yeah,
I
we're
have
working on
5
it.
daughters,
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't think I take them.
Yeah. Well,
They're
you can
too
edit that
loud.
out.
They're just too loud.
Yeah.
Anyways, last words from the lady of the house on this whole project and your selection.
I couldn't be more excited.
Really?
Yeah, we're so excited for. It feels real now that we actually have 2 holes, so that we have a coach roof, and they're putting it together, and it's starting to really become real.
Yeah.
So we're at the exciting phase now, picking all of our options and all of our things, and all these passages and crew opportunities that we've had, we're going to be able to realize on our own, on our own keels. Which is,
One of the other things, if you do go the new boat build route, one of the fun aspects of it is where you're building the boat.
Yeah.
And South Africa,
fantastic place to visit.
holy smokes.
It's funny. I was about to ask you that.
Yeah, it should play a factor if your mission and your process allows for it. Getting the opportunity to spend time in South Africa, and the people are so amazing.
They're so gracious. We came there. We didn't even have anything started. I mean, we were under contract.
Yeah.
But we met with all of the, with the factory. They showed us, where they made the cabinets. We met with everyone, and they took time even during holiday, to show us around. And we saw that. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
Last words from you on your project?
My project is now trying to get you out sailing. That is my new project.
We really want to meet Sylvia.
Oh yes,
We
we'll
gotta
make
get
that
Sylvia
happen.
out there.
Well, now that I've gone through my like she would kill me if she came to this show, simply because I go boat, 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 geek, geek, geek. But now I'm easing down. So the next shows we'll see if we can get her out. Last question: what wood are you choosing?
It's up in there. We've chosen zebra wood when we originally went through, but we've got options. We can choose anything.
The jury's
under
still
the,
out.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going around and around, but we love the zebra wood.
It's complimentary to
Yeah, it's so complimentary.
So we'll take a tour of this boat, and you can see that zebra wood again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Pleasure
for
meeting you.
commenting and joining up. It's absolutely wonderful.
Keep up the good work. We love it.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks for joining us this week, and thanks again to Kirk, Cat, Kayla, and Phil for their gracious hospitality. We'll see you next week. Cheers.